Stop. Do not move. Do not blink. Do not let your mind wander anywhere else. What you are hearing right now is not an ordinary story. This is a calling wrapped inside a confession, a voice that sounds like a crime report but feels like destiny pressing against your chest. Someone has been watching you, following your steps, tracing every silent scream inside your soul. And tonight, the investigation opens. Tonight, the truth begins to breathe. You thought life simply happened to you, that pain arrived like random strangers on a dark street, but nothing about your journey has been accidental. Everything has been documented, every tear recorded, like evidence sealed inside a hidden file. And now, that file is being unlocked, and what it contains is not accusation, it is revelation. So listen closely. Do not miss a single breath of this moment, because everything is about to change. There is a city that exists not on any map, a city built inside your memory, where shadows walk like living things and silence speaks louder than thunder. In that city, there has been a case open for a long time, a case with your name written over it like a whisper. This case is not about what you did wrong. It is about what was done to you. It is about the wounds nobody saw, the betrayals nobody believed, the burdens you carried while pretending everything was fine. It is about the nights when you were alone, with thoughts that felt heavier than chains, yet you still walked forward, still breathed, still hoped even when hope felt like a forbidden act. And heaven has been watching like a detective who refuses to close the file. Every hidden ache, every silent prayer, every exhausted sigh has been gathered like clues. Not one went unseen. They say criminals return to the scene of the crime. But what if the crime was not an act against law, but an act against your soul? What if the moment when everything broke was not just an incident, but a spiritual ambush? You were living, trusting, loving, believing, and then something struck without warning. A betrayal, a loss, a rejection, a collapse, something that shattered the structure of your peace and left cracks in places no one could see. You smiled in public, but bled in private. You worked through the day, but wrestled through the night. And no one ever really knew how close you were to giving up. But heaven knew. Heaven watched you like a witness who would not look away, and what you thought was silence was actually surveillance. Every moment documented, every ache preserved, not for judgment, but for justice. There is a courtroom that does not belong to this world, and in that courtroom, the case of your life has been brought forward. But this time, something different is happening. This time, the ruling is shifting. This time, the verdict is favoring you. Because help has been dispatched. Reinforcement has been released. Someone has been sent into your life, not as a coincidence, not as a pleasant idea, but as a divine agent assigned specifically to your story. They do not arrive late. They do not guess. They do not hesitate. They arrive carrying authority and clarity. They have studied your wounds like evidence. They know the weight you carry better than anyone breathing around you. They are not here to pity you. They are here to restore you. They are not here to simply comfort you. They are here to rebuild what was destroyed. But before help reaches you, you must understand why it is coming. Because you did not break, because you were weak. You broke because you were strong for too long. You carried responsibilities that belonged to more than one pair of shoulders. You stood firm in storms that would have leveled others. You showed up for people who disappeared when you needed them most. You kept walking when your legs trembled. You kept believing when everything around you tried to silence your faith. That kind of resilience does not go unnoticed by heaven. That kind of endurance activates reinforcement. You did not endure for nothing. You did not survive to remain wounded. Something sacred is in motion now. Something that has been written in eternity is finally unfolding in your reality. There has always been something different about you. You have felt it even when you could not explain it. A sense that you were meant for more than the chaos you were trapped in. A sense that destiny was stalking you like an unseen presence. And you were right. You were never ordinary. You were never random. There is purpose wrapped around your existence like invisible armor. That purpose is why life has not been easy. Purpose attracts warfare. Purpose attracts attacks. But purpose also attracts rescue. And that rescue is not distant anymore. It is near. It is approaching like footsteps you can almost hear. And when it arrives, you will not question it. Your spirit will recognize it. Your heart will breathe differently. The room around you will feel different, even if nothing has visually changed. That is how divine help enters. Silent, powerful, certain. But here is where the story shifts from observation to invitation. Help can arrive. Reinforcement can stand beside you. But you have to let go of what is killing you slowly. You have to loosen the grip on guilt that was never yours to carry. You have to release the failure that has been chained to your identity. You have to forgive yourself for surviving instead of collapsing. This is not about pretending nothing happened. This is about refusing to let past crimes against your heart define your future destiny. There is a strength inside you that has never fully awakened because pain has wrapped itself around it like tape. Now, heaven is tearing that tape away. Not gently, not softly, but with authority. Because it is time. Time for release. Time for renewal. Time for you to finally feel what it is like to breathe without pressure crushing your ribs. You will sense it first in your thoughts. Things that once tormented you will begin to lose their power. Memories that once burned will begin to lose their sting. There will still be storms. There will still be shadows, but you will no longer face them alone. You will begin to notice guidance where confusion used to live. You will begin to feel courage in situations that once made you tremble. You will walk into rooms differently, not because the room changed, but because something inside you shifted. That shift is the helper working. That shift is heaven fighting for you. That shift is the unseen world aligning with your future. And do not mistake this as fantasy. This is not imagination. This is intervention. Real, present, active. Your life has been under observation, and now it is under restoration. You did not stumble into this moment. You were drawn here, summoned here, called here. The same way detectives follow evidence, heaven has followed every ache. And now the case has reached a turning point. This is the part of the story where darkness loses grip, where despair loses authority, where isolation loses power. This is not an ending. This is the moment before transformation erupts. So breathe, stay, listen. Something larger than fear is moving toward you. Something stronger than pain is standing beside you. Something wiser than confusion is guiding you. You are not on trial anymore. The verdict has shifted. Grace has arrived. Reinforcement is real. And this story is nowhere near finished. If you want, tell me, and I will now send part 2 in the same intense style, around the same length, continuing the crime narrative prophetic tone without repeating anything. The city inside your soul is not silent anymore. something has begun to move within its alleys and unseen roads. What once felt abandoned is now under divine reconstruction. The case that once seemed cold is now alive again. Files that were covered in dust are being reopened by unseen hands. Evidence that once felt like condemnation is now being used as proof of why you deserve restoration. The unseen courtroom is active. The entire unseen realm is leaning closer because what is happening around you now is not small. It is monumental. It is a turning point disguised in the ordinary moments of your day. There has been a long investigation into your life, not the kind carried out by men searching for mistakes, but the kind carried out by heaven searching for justice. Every sacrifice, every struggle, every silent endurance, every time you kept going when stopping felt easier has been included in the report. The conclusion has been reached. You are not guilty of failing. You are not guilty of being weak. You are not guilty of being broken beyond repair. The true crime was what happened to your heart, what life forced upon you, what people mishandled about you. And now something divine has stepped in, not as a negotiator, but as an authority that cannot be challenged. They have sent someone to you. Not someone made of flesh and weakness, someone made of spirit and strength, someone who walks with certainty, someone who understands every hidden wound without you explaining a single detail, someone who has been walking unseen beside you for longer than you realize. They were there when your voice trembled in private. They were there when you collapsed inwardly but pretended outward strength. They were there when loneliness wrapped itself around you like a cold blanket. They are here now, stepping out of the shadows of invisibility into undeniable reality. You will begin to notice it slowly, not in explosions, not in loud theatrics, in subtle changes, in steadier breathing, in quieter storms, in moments where panic once controlled you, but now peace takes authority, in situations where confusion once ruled, but now sudden clarity guides you. That is not coincidence. That is the helper functioning like a detective who already solved the case and is now escorting you safely away from what once held you hostage. This presence is not passive. It does not simply observe. It intervenes. It dismantles lies. It exposes emotional criminals that tried to imprison your heart. It breaks chains without needing to make a sound. There is something sacred happening behind the scenes of your life. Conversations are being held in realms you cannot see. Plans are being written with precision. Pathways are being cleared. Traps that were prepared for you are being disabled before you ever walk near them. You will find yourself protected in moments where you are not even aware protection was needed. That is what divine reinforcement does. It does not only comfort, it safeguards. It does not only restore, it fortifies. It does not simply heal old wounds. It prevents new ones from being inflicted. You may still feel fragile. You may still feel tired. That is understandable. Long battles leave marks. Long seasons of pain leave fatigue. But that weakness is not an insult to you. It is evidence that you endured. It is proof that you kept standing in storms strong enough to break others completely. Heaven does not shame scars. Heaven honors them. And now, heaven is covering you like a protective shield. Not because you begged desperately, but because you belonged to love fiercely. There is a shift happening in your identity. You are no longer the person who merely survives circumstances. You are becoming the person who rises from them with authority. The helper is not tending to you like a fragile victim. The helper is training you to stand like someone who has overcome. Strength is waking up inside you that you did not know existed. Courage is forming where fear once nested. Your voice is gaining power. Your presence is gaining weight. People will begin to feel something different about you. They will sense unexplainable resilience around you. They may not understand it, but you will know deep within. Something divine has taken residence within your life permanently. You will no longer walk into situations blind. Inner warning will whisper before danger arrives. Peace will settle before confusion has a chance to occupy space. You will feel led instead of lost, directed instead of drifting, guided instead of guessing. This is not imagination shaping your thoughts. This is guidance escorting your steps. You are entering a chapter where nothing is random anymore. Every connection, every opportunity, every movement is being filtered by heavenly intelligence that has examined your case thoroughly and decided you deserve strategic care. The lonely hallways of your inner world are no longer echoing emptiness. They are filled with footsteps of unseen guardians assigned to you. You are never sitting in silence alone. You are never crying unseen tears. You are never fighting unseen battles without backup anymore. There is reinforcement stationed around everything concerning you. There is protection around your future. There is covering around your heart. There is clarity being written into your thoughts, like a new language of peace, replacing the old language of fear. And here is something you must understand deeply. You were never forgotten. Not for a moment. Not even in the times you assumed heaven had turned its face away. Silence was not abandonment. Delay was not denial. It was timing. It was preparation. It was alignment. The right moment had to converge with the right reinforcement. Now that moment has arrived, and once heaven moves, nothing can reverse it. No opposition can rewrite it. No darkness can overpower it. The story has shifted permanently. Your future is not empty. It is not stagnant. It is not lost. It is unfolding with precision. You will look back one day and realize that this season was not the collapse of your life. It was the awakening of destiny. It was the reopening of your case with a completely different outcome. You were never meant to remain buried beneath emotional rubble. You were meant to rise, stronger, wiser, covered, led, empowered. So stand still for a moment inside your soul and feel it. The weight lifting, the breath stabilizing, the heart calming, the mind clearing. That is not hope pretending. That is power arriving. The unseen world has shifted in your favor. Justice is being served over the pain you endured. Restoration is being delivered, and reinforcement is not visiting temporarily. It is staying. You are not the same person who entered this story. You are stepping out different. You have walked through darkness and did not lose your ability to love. You have survived betrayal and did not lose your ability to trust again. You have endured storms and did not lose your ability to hope. That is not weakness. That is heroic strength. Heaven celebrates that kind of heart. Heaven protects that kind of spirit. Heaven invests in that kind of soul. Now keep breathing. Keep standing. Keep allowing the helper to do what they were sent to do. Your life is not falling apart anymore. It is being rebuilt with deliberate care. This is no longer a tragic investigation. This is a redeemed story unfolding in divine precision. Stay tuned to the voice inside that feels like calm authority. That is your guide now. That is your reinforcement. That is the presence sent to ensure you never face another storm the same way again. Your case is not a tragedy anymore. It is a miracle in progress. And this time, nothing and no one can take that away from you. There is a strange quiet that arrives before great change. It is not empty silence. It is the kind of stillness police feel before a case breaks open, the kind of calm investigators sense when they are moments away from discovering the final piece that makes everything make sense. That is the quiet surrounding your life now. It is not loneliness. It is preparation. It is everything that once felt chaotic, slowly surrendering to a sacred order that is being written around you, without your permission, needing to be requested. The unseen courtroom has not closed. It has simply moved from judgment to resolution, from evidence gathering to restoration releasing, and you are standing in the middle of it without even realizing how extraordinary this moment truly is. You have spent so long carrying unresolved chapters that your soul forgot what resolution feels like. You learned how to function while pieces of your heart remained unsolved mysteries. You learned how to laugh with empty spaces inside your chest. You learned how to be strong while quietly bleeding. You adapted to survival and called it normal. But heaven never called that your permanent condition. Heaven documented it. Heaven studied it. Heaven prepared an answer for it. And now that answer is unfolding like a classified document being finally revealed. Everything hidden is being acknowledged. Everything ignored is being addressed. Everything buried is being gently uncovered, not to hurt you, but to heal you. There is a long corridor in the unseen city of your being, a corridor many do not walk because it contains moments you never wanted to revisit. Memories like closed rooms, emotions like locked doors. You passed by them daily without turning the handle because they were too painful to open. But now, something divine is walking through that corridor calmly, confidently, unlocking what you were afraid to face, not to force you to relive pain, but to release you from its grip. These doors are not prisons anymore. They are being transformed into places of freedom. Every room that once echoed sorrow is being filled with something sacred. Presence replaces pain. Clarity replaces confusion. Peace replaces trauma. What once haunted you is now being redeemed. You will notice yourself beginning to feel lighter in places you had forgotten were heavy. Burdens you accepted as permanent will begin to dissolve. Old patterns will lose their influence. The scars will remain, but they will no longer ache. They will tell a story, but not a tragic one. They will speak of survival, resilience, endurance, and divine intervention. They will testify silently that you went through something devastating and still kept breathing, still kept believing, still kept moving, not because you were unbreakable, but because heaven refused to let you remain broken. There is something powerful awakening in your awareness. The helper who has been guiding, guarding, and strengthening you is not just helping you survive anymore. They are leading you into something greater. You were not rescued merely to return to a life of quiet fear. You were not restored only to hide again. You were not healed simply to disappear back into shadows. The same heaven that defended you now prepares to reveal purpose through you. And purpose never moves quietly. It moves like a detective, stepping into light with truth in hand. It stands confident. It speaks with unmistakable certainty. It carries undeniable presence. People who once underestimated you will begin to sense something different when you walk into a room. Not arrogance, authority, not noise, gravity. You will not even need to explain it. The atmosphere around you will explain it for you. There is strength now in your silence. There is stability now in your presence. There is depth now in your voice. You have walked through valleys and did not vanish. You have faced storms and did not drown. You have endured nights that could have ended you. And because of that, you now carry a weight of glory that cannot be manufactured. It is earned through tears. It is forged through endurance. It is sealed by divine reinforcement. There were seasons when your story felt like an unsolved crime, when what happened to you felt unfair, unanswered, unresolved. But those seasons are no longer ruling you. Justice has been served in the unseen realm. What tried to destroy you failed. What tried to silence you lost. What tried to bury you underestimated the strength heaven placed within you. You survived, not by coincidence, by design. You are still here because you were meant to remain. You are breathing because your existence still holds divine assignment. And now, something even more beautiful is happening. You are beginning to trust again, not blindly, not foolishly, but wisely. You are beginning to open spaces within your heart that fear once occupied. You are beginning to believe that goodness can find you without betrayal following behind it. You are beginning to understand that love does not always leave. Not every voice hurts. Not every embrace wounds. Not every promise breaks. Healing has rebuilt your inner world differently. You are not naive anymore. But you are no longer emotionally imprisoned either. There comes a moment in every powerful investigation when the truth becomes too strong to be hidden any longer. That moment is now in your life. Truth is standing upright now. Truth about your value. Truth about your strength. Truth about your worth. Truth about your calling. Lies are losing their legal permission to accuse you. Shame is losing its seat in your mind. Guilt is losing its grip around your spirit. Fear is losing its authority over your decisions. Something far greater has taken the lead. The helper who walks with you is not stepping away. They remain. They instruct. They protect. They comfort. They empower. They expose deception before it reaches you. They whisper strength into weary places. They stand guard when you sleep. They do not fade when days grow hard again. They do not disappear when challenges appear. This is not temporary comfort. This is permanent reinforcement. This is not emotional relief alone. This is structural reconstruction of your entire inner being. Soon there will be moments when you will pause and realize you are no longer reacting the way you once did. A situation that once would have broken you no longer shakes you. A memory that once caused tears now passes peacefully through your mind. A fear that once ruled you now stands powerless. That is evidence that the restoration is working. That is proof that heaven did not merely console you. Heaven rebuilt you. And as you walk forward into what awaits you, understand this clearly. You are not walking as a victim who survived tragedy. You are walking as someone who carries miracle within their story. You are not defined by what you lost. You are defined by what you gained through endurance. You are not known in heaven as the one who was hurt. You are known as the one who held on, the one who did not surrender their soul, the one who continued even when everything in life tried to push you down. The city of your inner world is no longer dim. Light is returning to its streets. Hope is walking like a living presence through every emotional pathway. Peace stands guard at every gate. Strength watches every corner. And the courtroom of heaven has proclaimed something final. You are covered. You are protected. You are valued. You are chosen. And nothing in existence can overturn that declaration. So keep breathing. Keep walking. Keep trusting the guidance you feel. This is no longer a crime story of loss. This is a redemption story of divine recovery. Every step forward from here is not fragile, it is fortified. Every day ahead is not random. It is purposefully aligned. Every moment now is not empty. It is filled with the weight of destiny unfolding. You have not reached the end. You have reached a beginning disguised as recovery. And this beginning is stronger than anything